comrades, compatriots, and loved ones at home. Today is Wednesday, the 28th of August, and we're coming to you bright and early. The conversation today is about youth unemployment, the challenges, and how we might find expression to solve it in the Northern Cape. Now, our wonderful guest this morning is the Provincial Secretary. What did I say yesterday? I'm all about the secretaries, and soon I'll be all about the chairpersons. But for right now, the Provincial Secretary of the Youth League in the Northern Cape, Comrade Victor Simpua Dolopi, otherwise known as the Vic Sip Dollar. Welcome, Comrade Dolopi. How are you?
I'm well, man.
Now, you and I have done this before.
Yes.
So our wonderful conversation is something that we're going to have today.
This time
We've
you're
got that
directing.
chemistry, right?
You're
We've got that
directing this
energy.
time.
We've got that youth thing going for us. How are you feeling this morning?
I am super excited to be here. It's always nice being here. It's home. It's home where we're going to show the world what we're all about. So I'm super excited
And
to be here.
we've got that energy.
Yes,
I love it.
yes,
I love it.
yes.
So bright and early in the morning.
Yeah.
Now, Comrade Dolls, ours is a bit of a challenging discussion. It's always very contentious as well in the country because as far as the country goes in terms of democracy, grows from strength to strength in policy development and legislation, we are always a little bit on the back foot. Not a little bit, quite on the back foot when it comes to youth unemployment. Now, to start this conversation, let's talk about statistics. And I want us to look at the statistics that were recently released about youth ratios in terms of unemployment. More young women are sitting at home unemployed than young men. How does the Youth League feel about that in general?
Look, the emancipation of the girl child, especially, to us is a priority because it's one sector or area of the youth that we tend to not look into unless we want to do some things that are negative that me and you maybe would know about. As the Youth League, Tina, ours is to, at all times, advocate for them also to find expression and be seen as equals. Because if truth be told, the education statistics say that most of the people that matriculated, I think, were girls. So it can't be that they are the ones that are neglected, yet they were the ones who performed good. So that one, as the Youth League, now we see it as a priority, and it's one that we wish to emancipate now, not tomorrow. We wish to advocate for their, they need to be acknowledged. They need to be given the necessary support. And most of them are even into business also. So they need to be seen as equal people that can contribute, as that is our objective as the Youth League, to contribute immensely to the work of the ANC and that of government.
And that sounds fantastic. And considering that this is Letsema Live, most of these youth matters should find expression in Letsema and its programs. So taking it further, young graduates, you recently held a march as the Youth League in the Northern Cape, where you delivered a memorandum of demands to the Premier of the Northern Cape. Something that the YCL Provincial Secretary stated, Comrade Johnny Silike, was that education in the Northern Cape, considering we now have a university in Kimberley, Soaplik University, is not catering to the economic needs of the province. Do you think that the curriculum could be better developed so that young men and women are getting the right qualifications to get employment in this country, in this Northern Cape province?
Definitely. When we were closing our Congress this year as the Youth League, we were calling for a relook into the curriculum or the syllabus in the province. Because we find it hard that we are absent in areas that are all around us. We are a province that is agriculturally rich. When it comes to mining, but we are absent as the children of the Northern Cape, or as the learners of the Northern Cape, because not much is done to get us into those industries. And if that one is looked into, I can tell you now, your first question would have been something that we would discuss, by the way, because then girls would have been in mining, girls would have been in the agricultural sector. So I aligned myself totally to that, and actually it's good that you mentioned the march. The march was to also speak to that. Look into what you are teaching the people in this province or the young children in the province, because we no longer just want to study to study. We want to study so that we can be contributors in the economy, the fast-growing economy of this province. Yeah.
Okay. Letsema Life, this is where we are. I want to take it even further so that I understand and viewers out there understand the Youth League's position on active job seeking. There's been quite a discussion about this recently. It was even on LinkedIn at some stage that there's a difference between active youth job seekers and passive youth job seekers. What Letsema initiatives do you think, as the Youth League, you could inculcate into young people that sitting at home with the qualification is not enough? You know, oftentimes we've come across the phrase, take any job until you get the right one.
Yes.
Do you think that is something that young people should get into their mindset to take them further? Is any job good enough when you have the qualifications?
One of the objectives or the aims of the Youth League also is to promote patriotism. And if one is patriotic, you would know that at some time you will not have what you want at the time, but you might have what is there. So as the Youth League, Tina, we always try to encourage young people to make the best of whatever is there and where they are. Hence, when you read our documents, you'd find that once a person becomes a member of the Youth League, automatically you become the organizer, you become the trendsetter, you become the person that should make things happen. So, Tina, ours is we should at all times push to be the ones that speak where there is silence, to be the ones that move where there is no movement. So that is our position as the Youth League, to at all times promote volunteering, patriotism, and also collectively tackling things.
Well, I love everything that you've said. At the press briefing, well, not the press briefing, but rather the media attention that the march garnered, one of the statements that's proclaimed by the chairperson of the Northern Cape, the chairperson of the ANC in the Northern Cape, and the premier of the Northern Cape, was that they are going to facilitate a youth ministry in the Northern Cape as part of Letsema activism and volunteerism. What is the Youth League saying is going to come of that youth ministry? Now, for this one, don't speak to me, please,
Yes.
Comrade Dola. Pan to your camera and give that message to young men and women sitting at home, graduated, organized, unorganized, that look towards the Letsema initiative wholeheartedly as being something that's going to speak to them finding their space
Yes.
in society.
In our conversations with the chair of the province, Dr. ZS, we would always push for youth acknowledgement, and hence it was part of our memorandum when we went to his office. What we are calling for is not just rhetoric or something that should just be there, but we are calling for a youth ministry that would speak to youth issues and not treat youth issues as by the way, but prioritize. Like they are like when they wake, it should be youth issues. It should be issues of people with disabilities. It should be issues that push for young people to really be seen as active players. So the ministry would then play that role of ensuring that as young people we have something that we can call our own, something that we can also be held accountable for, because we cannot only push for something that will be nice, but also for something that we know we should see on the ground what it does. So that is what the ministry, or what we want as the Youth League, something that would prioritize the well-being of young people in the province, that would ensure that all our cries, all our calls, they find expression and they are not rhetoric. That is, in short, what we wish to get out of the ministry.
Thank you so much, PS. Now, Comrade ZS, as he's affectionately known by the Youth League, you've got a tall task when it comes to Letsema and making sure that the youth ministry is not just a word of mouth task, but something that the youth can devote themselves to and be encouraged to participate in and support. We're going to a quick ad break, and when we come back, more for you on youth unemployment. And we're back. Welcome back, viewers, comrades, and compatriots at home. Thank you for joining us so nice and early in the morning. Like I said yesterday, I hope you have that cup of coffee in hand, that first spoon of soft porridge in the mouth, or cereal. And let's take it away. Now we're back with the regional chairperson for the ZF Mgao region in the Northern Cape, a PEC member of the Northern Cape in the ANC, and the MEC for Economic Development, Tourism, and affairs, financial affairs, I believe.
Yes.
Comrade Foss, as you affectionately know, Comrade Foslo Abraham. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Comrade Tsolo. Yourself?
I am fantastic. We're bright and early. This is the team that gets things done very early in the morning.
It looks like that, yeah, indeed.
Now, we just finished having a brief conversation with Comrade Dolopi, the Provincial Secretary of the Youth League, where we spoke about the youth ministry and its promises as made by the provincial chairperson, Comrade Zamani Saul. Now, let's take it a little further from the perspective of economic development, tourism, and financial affairs. What is it that you think could come as an excellent initiative for youth ministry from this province?
I think indeed it's a approach in the right direction as a province. But understanding where it comes from. It comes from the desire to have young people leading a ministry that seeks to address the plethora of challenges that young people in the province face. And having a young people that will be in position, in the leadership position, will be able to firsthand speak on behalf of young people, bring some sort of vibrancy into the discussions, but also influence and add value to the decision-making processes within government. So we are looking forward as a provincial government, working very closely with young people in the new ministry, understanding quite well that the youth affairs are cutting across all departments within the provincial government. But having the ministry would seek to coordinate the activities to make a meaningful impact in terms of the challenges that the young people face around unemployment and around social ills that they encounter on a day-to-day basis. And we hope that through this initiative, we'll be able to make the impact that we also so much desire.
Mm. Now, Comrade Dolopi even took it a step further when we spoke about young graduates, and we spoke about whether or not we've got the right qualifications in this Northern Cape province with the university that we have that is producing the right kind of graduates. Beyond that, does Treasury and Economic Affairs think it is better to produce graduates or entrepreneurs? Do we want to support a growing GDP of the Northern Cape and the country in general, considering that we're going through rather tough times as a country financially? Or do we want to just produce an ongoing plethora of graduates?
I think we must start from where we started off as the sixth administration. When we started in May 2019, the GDP contribution of the Northern Cape stood at 94 billion rand. Through the hard work, under the leadership of the provincial chairperson of the ANC and also the premier of the province, Dr. Zamani Sol, we've been able to grow the economy. As we speak, the economy stands at the GDP contribution stands at 126 billion rand. Shows a positive growth in terms of GDP contribution from the side of the Northern Cape. So that's the one part. But in terms of the role of young people and how do we speak to the issue of the graduates and where do we need them? Indeed, the Northern Cape makes provision for mining, agriculture, and also renewable energy. In terms of renewable energy initiatives in the province, we in the country, the Northern Cape, occupies space of 62% of all renewable projects in the country, which amount to about 98 billion rand. So in that space, we'll have to see young people graduating and get qualifications around renewable energy production and in that space of renewable energy, but also in terms of mining and also in terms of agriculture. So those are the areas. But if you take it one step further, the vision of the province in terms of building a modern, growing, and a successful province, indeed, we then need young people that will be graduating in the field of digitalization, also in terms of the new direction that we are getting into as a country, because this new ministry will not only be focusing on youth, be focusing on youth, women, people living with disabilities, but also e-governance and digitalization affairs. So all of those seeks to take us as a province into a direction where we really want to see a province where we are growing, where there's space for our young people to be able to be accommodated in the right qualifications and make sure that they contribute towards the growth of the economy in the province. And around entrepreneurial development, I think we can safely say that as a department, obviously under leadership of OTP, the Office of the Premier, and our entity, which is the Northern Cape NEDA, which is the Northern Cape Economic Development Agency. We are working very hard around different projects. But let's first, before we get there, let's first identify what we are doing as a department. Not treasury, but economic development. We are focusing on non-financial support as well as financial support. Non-financial support, number one, focuses on training in relation to compliance-related matters, but also provides support to SMMEs, get them in a position where they are able to access opportunities within the business fraternity and also within government. But also, in terms of financial support, the focus around financial support is around different programs that we provide through our different government departments as well as entities. As the Northern Cape Provincial Government, we are having a fund which is called the Northern Cape and NEF Blended Fund, which focuses on providing money to qualifying companies with the aim to grow the company, with the aim to assist, make sure that they are able to participate meaningfully in the space of doing business in the province, and especially through getting opportunities in provincial government, as well as in local government, as well as in the private sector. That's the number one. But also through another entity, which is SEFA. Yeah, there's another Youth Challenge Fund, which also make provision for young people to access opportunities in business, and that's another opportunity. But then in addition, there's another program that focuses on entrepreneurs, where as a department, we are providing money to buy equipment for upcoming businesses, those small businesses will just need the basic things just for them to be able to make a living on a day-to-day basis. That's what some of the initiatives that we have, and indeed, I haven't even mentioned all of them. There are still a lot of, from time to time, we are going to different districts, informing SMMEs, informing organizations in the business fraternity around programs and provide information. Just yesterday, just on Monday, we were in Pofadder, having had such an engagement where we share information. We were in Pixley some months back, in Francis Bar, and also even in JTG and in ZFM. So those are, we are taking out the message as to what we need to do and how people can access that, because we sometimes find, in terms of applications, we don't have enough applications. And even if we do have applications, the issue around the compliance, we have found wanting in that regard. And that's something that we are focusing on also as a department.
So this is actually what contributed to the the sixth administration, in 7 quarters having achieved a difference in the unemployment ratio of the Northern Cape. Because Comrade Zamani Saul said it when he was on Power Talk with Comrade JJ Tabani. Well, not Comrade JJ Tabani anymore, but JJ Tabani. He's a very controversial man, and I think he thought he had the chair on that one. And clearly, there are so many initiatives in this province that are helping us achieve that reduced unemployment rate in the province. And it's through initiatives like this. But like you say, Comrade Fosi, there are still many challenges that young people are not able to comply. How better are we able to get that information out to them so that by the time we get to the 8th financial quarter, young people in this province have access to information, access to opportunities, and are reducing that unemployment rate significantly?
So I think it's important to mention that there's a direct correlation between the decrease in the rate of unemployment as well as the poverty levels in the province. And the provincial chair explained it quite clearly to say that when we came into office, unemployment was even above 27%. We are now standing at 23.7%, which is the lowest in the country, having beaten the Western Cape, who used to be number 1, for consecutive quarters, as identified by the provincial chair. And we are saying that achievement doesn't just fall out of the sky. It required visionary leadership that was provided by the provincial chair, who's also the premier. And we have been able to do that through a variety of interventions and initiatives that the Office of the Premier guided us on as a Department of Economic Development and Tourism. And through NEDA, we have been able to focus on catalytic projects that seek to create job opportunities in the area and also foster industrialization. And those projects you will find around the metal corridor, which will be in the eastern part of the province, starting in the JTG district, which will be your Katu Industrial Mining Industrial Park. Will be focusing on mining-related activities and business opportunities. And in that regard, obviously, the provincial government works very closely with the private sector, which is your mining houses in that area. You move from that in the metal corridor, still on the N14, you go to Uppington. There in Uppington, you'll be finding the Uppington Industrial Park. Initially, the idea was to actually create and establish a special economic zone there. But because we were unable to get an anchor investor, we then converted it into an industrial park, focusing obviously on the agricultural sector and also renewable energy. And if you move from there on your way to further west to the Namakwa area, you will come to a place called Aghanais. And in that area, you will be establishing the SEZ. And in that area, The anchor investor will be a private company called Vedanta, and all that area will be focusing on mining, also renewable energy, even hydrogen. And it will be a multinodal one, meaning it will be in Aggeneys and also in the Port Nolloth area, where the Boegebaai development will take place. And all of these initiatives, as I said, has been led by the Premier, obviously well supported by NEDA and the department, and the Premier, through his office, has actually involved state-owned enterprises like Transnet, like Sasol, in terms of the development in your Port Nolloth area. Sasol has actually confirmed that they will participate in terms of a green hydrogen development project in that area. And that development project will be close to 300 billion rand. It's 272 billion rand, which is 16 billion US dollars. If you convert it into South African rands, it will be 272 billion rand. In total, that project will create about 25,000 job opportunities in that area. Those are the initiatives that the Premier leads. And then also in engagement with Transnet. We have been engaging with Transnet, and then they've committed to the building of a port there, which are going to be more than 10 billion rand, and then also a rail, which will be more than 30 billion rand by the time the work starts. From where we are sitting, all of these initiatives contributes towards the decrease in terms of the unemployment figure. And that's where we are heading. And through that process, we'll obviously be in a position to create job opportunities. But more importantly, there will be an opportunity for young people to be trained and even to get qualifications in this very space that I earlier mentioned about renewable energy and about not only renewable energy, but also in agriculture and in mining. Because all of these areas that I've mentioned will in the main be focusing on those three economic sectors. And for us, that's important. That is why we are working very closely with Solplaatje University to make sure Solplaatje University is our university that seeks to address the challenges of the young people in the province, but also seeks to address the economic challenges and the areas in which we want young people to be educated in. So the fact that the Provincial Secretary of Youth League alluded to the fact that they're looking for young people, they're encouraging young people to participate in the economy, but importantly, get themselves ready in terms of qualifications. That to us is a step in the right direction. It shows us that as a province, we know where we want to go to, and we are working towards that. We're not only talking about it, but we're working actively towards that.
Comrade Fosi, you've given us more than enough information. We look forward in this province to achieving so many great things as led by the provincial chairperson, Comrade Zamani Saul. Now, when we look at the Northern Cape and its tagline, modern growing city, modern growing province rather, we have so much to look forward to. Private stakeholders, we hope you're watching. The Northern Cape is coming for you and your very deep pockets. We're coming to take everything you've got and we're going to invest it in young people to take this province forward. Now, with those few words and so much information, we have to say for this morning, goodbye, have a wonderful day.